Give the intro. Hey, everyone who's tuning in. Thank you for joining us real quick. We are just about to kick this thing off. I just want to let you know real quick, we got a couple of fun topics that we're going to be talking about. We will be discussing what mask types have been kind of run into the ground, what's been overdone and we don't really need any more of, and what do you all think we need more of? Because, we need some variety out there. Also, we're going to be talking about Ouija boards. We're going to have T.C. Morgan, stand-up comedian, is going to come on and review a film, a really, really bad film. We have an artist of the week who is going to be shown really great stuff, and we have two masks that we're going to be giving away, and they're right here behind me. So we'll be unveiling the latest version of Wasteland 2072 in just a moment. So you just want to make sure that you're watching this on a device other than your phone, because we will be giving away one of the masks to a live caller. So if you have a phone handy, you're going to be calling into the show. So, all right. Well, I guess we're probably right there. So let's go ahead and get this show started.
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
They're coming! They mostly come at night. Mostly. I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Now clear your minds. It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
You're gonna be just fine. I'm your number one fan.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Did you know I'm utterly insane? I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
It was an excellent day for an exorcism.
We have such sights to show you.
I see dead people.
It's just occurred to me we really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment. There's no sense worrying about it now.
Why worry? Each of us is wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's version of Uncle Monster's Monster Vision. Thank you all for tuning in. Before we delve into the show real quick, I just want to say I think we got all the bugs worked out this time around. If you watched the first episode, and for those of you who are returning, thank you for coming back. That first episode, we had all kinds of technical issues. There was an update to Windows that I was dumb enough to go ahead and install the night before we were to launch. The next day, everything on my computer had been changed, even the wallpaper on my desktop. So I spent the whole day scrambling to try to get things fixed, and it was a complete train wreck. So, but hey, if you're going to have a dumpster fire, why not have a nice big one? So this episode, we've got some really great stuff coming on. Again, we have T.C. Morgan, who will be joining us shortly to review a film that one of our fan club members picked out. And I can't remember the name, and I wish I looked it up before the show, but I forgot. I already put the fart jar entries into the fart jar. So we also have Artist of the Week that I'm not going to announce just yet. We'll get to that and stuff. And then we have two topics that we're going to talk about. So we're going to bring up a phone number here so that you'll know what phone number to call. And make sure you put this in your phone and just keep it under Monster Vision. And then that way, if you ever want to, call into the show, you can call into the show. And that phone number works 24 hours a day. So if you know what subject coming up on the next show, maybe you can't watch it live, but you got a story that you'd like to tell, call it up. Or praise for the show or complaints. We probably won't air the complaints, but the praise we will. Okay, let's get the show started. Sitting here in the studio with me, right over here on the command center, is Natalie Smith from 1,000 Word Studio, and sitting over here in the big chair is Mr. Tony Garrison, and then of course we've got myself. So last episode, we had Alan Hops on for an interview, and I tell you, I have admired that guy for so long. It was really awesome to have him on. But he said something during the interview that really inspired this first topic that we're going to talk about, and that is he made the comment that we need new monsters. People have kind of been making the same thing over and over for years and stuff like that, and that really resonated with me because it got me thinking. I'm about to start a couple of new sculpts, and I'm thinking I might try to do something kind of original and stuff. So I wanted to open up the show, first of all, to talk about what kind of masks do you think, and this includes you in the audience, if you want to call in and chime in, give us a call, but what kind of masks do you think have been run into the ground, that there are just plenty of these out there, and what do you think we should bring up going forward? One of the things that I want to use as an example is, and I'm a big lover of The Walking Dead, and zombies have been around for a long time thanks to George Romero and all that kind of stuff, and they are definitely something that, zombies are awesome. But I kind of think, even though one of my masks is a zombie, I kind of think that there's enough of a selection of zombies that are out there. I mean, what do you guys think? And anything else that you agree with? Any other themes that you think have been kind of done to death?
I know it feels kind of generic to say, and I love him, but I feel like Jason masks can kind of be done with. You still kind of see that a lot. Yeah. The zombies do seem kind of overdone at this point.
I agree with that, and Alan brought that up on the show. The Michael Myers, the Jason Hockey masks, and the Freddy Krueger's. Now, I get that there's a lot of people that really love those movies, and whatever you love, that's cool. I mean, I love Star Wars and stuff. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there are some talented artists that are out there doing that, but they're not really an original idea. I do give them credit for the fact that they can faithfully represent them so accurately, but it's definitely I guess unless you're really into it, you probably couldn't tell one artist from another because the masks probably look identical and stuff. So, but yeah, it's just I think that's done too much.
Yeah.
I would personally like to see more alien characters, but the unfortunate thing is I think George Lucas kind of ruined the idea of aliens as being scary, because it used to be back in the 50s, you had all those sci-fi movies that were all, the alien invaders and all this kind of stuff, and aliens were something really, really scary. Then George Lucas comes up with Star Wars, and he has aliens that are all, eating dinner right next to us, in the same bars, and, I guess shopping at the Walmart and stuff. And all of a sudden, aliens aren't scary no more. They're just another person. And so, I don't know, it's kind of, it might be kind of difficult, like, to create a scary alien, type of thing, unless you're going to base it on aliens or something like that. So, but, those are just kind of my thoughts.
Watching Stranger Things, I've been really excited, especially not to try and spoil anything if anybody hasn't watched it, but the monster, I was like, this is really one of a kind to me. Like, you haven't seen something like that before, and it was really exciting to see something kind of fresh and new, and so I was excited about that.
I agree, absolutely, yeah. I put them because Alan had also mentioned about how there's, like, either monsters that nature made or monsters that we made. They would definitely be in the monsters that nature made, in the sense that I kind of think of them as almost like demonic, because I think of demons coming from another realm. Same with the Stranger Things. I agree. I mean, there's definitely a lot of alternate realm type creatures that could really be done, which opens the door into cryptids. There's a lot of cryptids out there. Tony is listening to the same podcasts that I am, so some of the cryptids that they talk about are some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think Brandon Dolan made a comment here about, I think he said armor, but I do think, I don't know much about masks. I've never worn masks. I got into masks until I met you, as a matter of fact. But, yeah, seeing what you do and learning about this industry, it seems like there's an opportunity for hands, arms, body components that seems like it's a huge opportunity right now to capitalize on.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see, some more of that.
Now, how about if you're just able to comment, that's cool. But if you can call us up. We'll bring you on live. I've been seeing a lot of people on Latex Mask Central asking for female latex mask characters. And I always thought that was interesting because it always seems like guys are into wearing the masks, but girls tend to be more into the makeup. And I think that is, something that just kind of flows naturally. The girls start wearing the makeup. They learn how to put that stuff on their skin. Bridging it one over to doing special effects makeup is just kind of an extension of that. Us guys, very few of us know how to put makeup on. I know how to put makeup on because I acted for years on theater live, so you have to put makeup on, otherwise you just look like a flat white ghost up on stage. But I never wore it outside the theater. Well, okay, maybe a couple of times, but not all that often. So, but yeah, what do you think, Natalie? Do you think there's a market for that?
For
you
more
viewers, comment. Is it worth it for us mask makers to put that kind of work into making something? Will enough units sell? Because I think there's a lot of mask makers out there that are probably curious about exactly that same thing.
I think with females, they've got, that's hard to say. Like, the first thought that comes to mind is females have different features, and you kind of work off of those. You don't want to cover them up completely.
That's true.
If anything, I would say that you want to maybe build prosthetics, not like full on cover the face masks, but build around
like
the face.
Like a partial, okay, that makes sense actually. That's actually not a bad idea.
Not that guys don't have, because I thought about it, and guys do. They have their own features too, but there is just something about a female that it just seems to make more sense to show the eyes off and use their features and everything. So.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I think makeup and silicone masks have over the latex is the fact that they can translate that facial expression and stuff. Whenever I think of, what kind of female mask can I make, I'm actually kind of thinking like a vampire character or something like that. But then at the same time, that's so easy to reproduce with makeup that you don't really need a mask for that, to have just a static, non-moving type of thing. So I don't know. I really want to do a female character, but I'm just afraid that if I sculpt it all up and then throw it out there, that no one's going to buy it, and then all of a sudden it's a waste of time and waste of energy, and I end up with a something that just doesn't go anywhere. So I just really don't know.
Well, Doreen McCullough just made a good point that females don't necessarily want a lot of latex and grease paints on their face.
That's true too.
Especially if they're working in a haunt. Somebody else mentioned, Shiloh mentioned that they needed more options for haunts. So you might be opening up a whole new world for female haunt actors.
Yeah, when we did our backyard haunts, we would always use latex masks over doing makeup. We did makeup 1 year. And after doing it that 1 year, we said, we're not doing this anymore, primarily because it took so much time. We only had one makeup artist, and we had all these characters and stuff. And it literally took so much time to get the makeup done that it was more of a hindrance. When we did the masks, we always bought 2 copies of each mask, and we would try to position most of the places where you could have 2 actors. One of them would be in the mask and in the costume to do the part that needed to be done. The other one would be hidden behind, peeking through and having fun watching people getting scared. When the actor started to overheat, they would just swap out and take a little break and cool off, and it worked real good for us. So I just kind of think that it's so much easier to show up, put a mask on, and be ready to go versus the makeup.
When my experience in working the haunted house, it was really hard. I don't know if maybe it's because we were going for longer and we would have, the whole month there was a lot of nights involved, but it's hard to keep the guys out there, or girls, whoever's in the mask. They do overheat really quick and they need a lot more breaks.
Absolutely.
Whereas the makeup, you get them in there and you have a little bit of amount of time allotted, and then they're pretty much done for the night. So.
Yep. Well, since we're talking about making masks and whatnot, what we're going to do is kind of rearrange what the schedule was just a little bit. Don't freak out, guys. Just because we have a little bit of extra time before we get TC to come on the air with us. So what I'm going to do is I've got a product review that we're going to do real quick, because I've had this box sitting here next to me since Tony brought it, and Tony forgot to bring it for episode 1, so he brought it for episode 2, and I've been waiting to open this up. So I'm going to spin a camera around here real quick. so that we have a camera that's not just looking at me, but we're going to bring this over, and I'm going to need your help, Natalie, let's go to this camera here that's looking at this product, and we're going to do an unboxing.
That one?
Actually, do we have that camera by itself or only with the picture-in-picture?
That.
Okay, that's fine. We can do it with the picture-in-picture. All right, try not to run over. Okay, so. Oh, no. I'm dropping stuff. That goes in the bloopers reel, which we'll get to those in a moment, too. We're going to do a quick little unboxing. This is, and supposed to be, if it's the right thing, this is an Elena head from the Monster Makers that I ordered. So, since everyone on the internet is so much into these unboxing videos, which I really don't get, we'll try to do an unboxing video, make it all fancy. So, as you can see, it just comes via UPS in your standard brown box. And this is exciting for me, too, because I've been wanting to get one of these. There we go. Opening it up, we can see that it is packed full of craft paper. And inside here is, let's go this way, an Elena head, and this is the new H2O, I think is what they call it, that uses the radiant heat technology. So what that means is, I think this is blow molded. I'm not completely sure, but it feels like your typical kind of blow molded plastic. It has a little cap in the bottom with a little hole here. And what you can do is to demold, you can fill this up with hot water, give it some time for that heat to kind of go through the plastic and into the monster clay. Hopefully you're using monster clay because that's my favorite. And that's going to make it much easier to split your mold and to get all your clay out of it and stuff. So I have an Ed head that is in the house right now with my Abaddon 2 sculpt that's on it. I wasn't able to leave it out here in the shed because it's been getting too hot during the day and it started to melt and sag and stuff. But I wanted to also get an Elena head. Now I also have an Ed head. So I got one of each. Actually, I got two of these, and then I've got the one of those. And side by side here, let's see. I'll try and move the camera just a little bit. Should have taken that picture-in-picture thing off. You can see the difference in the size. So there's a massive difference in the size of the heads. This is going to enable you to be able to make those female characters to the right proportion and stuff. Now, for a long time, I never really got into the idea of getting an Ed head, and it was only because the old Ed heads were made with foam, and I heard a lot of people, once they got about 5 or 6 in, that they would start to kind of crack and break and stuff like that. And so I was really reluctant to buy an Ed head. But when they came out with this, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a try. And I'll tell you, these things, I mean, this is good quality, seriously hardcore stuff. I would not doubt if this thing lasts forever. You'd have to seriously abuse this to hurt it at all. I'm a big guy, and I even thought about, like, laying it down on the ground, standing on it. I don't know if I would do that. But if you are looking to get a head, I think that these are very reasonably priced. They're under $100. And it's going to last you a long, long, long time. I'm very happy with how the monster clay adheres to the surface on my other sculpt and stuff. So this is why I said earlier that I'm dying to get these going, because I'm going to start 2 sculpts here very, very soon. So this is not a paid advertisement for the Monster Makers, but if you go to the Monster Makers website, you can get one of these, have my stamp of approval. Or you can even go to unclemonstersplace.com. I have a little web store there. I'm an Amazon affiliate, and if you go there, you'll see that I have both of these on there, and you can actually purchase from there. And doing that will be supporting the store or supporting this show and stuff. So again, these are definitely top-notch stuff. Really like them. The only thing out there that I think might be maybe a better product would be David Mosher's form. I have not personally seen one of those, but I've heard absolutely nothing but good things about them. So if this isn't to your liking, then you might want to check out David Mosher and stuff. So, but yeah, that's definitely something really, really good. Natalie, you want to go ahead and connect to TC, and let's see if we can get ready to bring him on. And let's see, what do we got here? Logan. Oh, it just passed too fast. Oh, you know what? While she's getting him connected, let's go back to this camera here. We're going to go ahead and unveil. The masks that we're going to give away. Last time when we did this, what we did was we just kind of randomly picked which ones. This time we're going to let you viewers vote. So first I'm going to show you the mask, then I'm going to explain how we're going to do these votes. So first off, we have Worm Food here, and this one is Comic Book. I kind of his paint job was inspired by the way the old 70s zombies were. They made them blue and all kinds of that kind of fun stuff and everything like that. So that's what he is. And he's got some laid on hair. And so there's that one. The other mask that is going to be given away today is going to be the latest version of Wasteland 2072. And this one was originally going to be called Police State, but I decided to rename him as I was finishing up his paint job, and I now call him Rat Rod. So this is the latest paint scheme. You can see he's got kind of a reddish pinkish tinted heads-up display there. This guy actually still needs to be glossed up, so that's the only thing left to do. I haven't done that because I knew I was going to be handling him today, and I wanted to give it some time and stuff. So here's how we're going to do this. The first drawing that we're going to do tonight is going to be a drawing. We're going to do one by drawing, and then we're going to do one that is going to be by phone-in. So what I want you guys right now to do in the comments is go in and comment which one you think should be done via the drawing. So that means if you're hoping to call in and win one of these, you want to vote for the one you don't want for the drawing. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So which one do you want to be randomly drawn from the pool, and we'll go from there. So that's how we got going on. Do we have TC all ready to go?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, excellent. Let's go to the, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and open his segment up. We'll start off our animation. So let's do our animation. All right. Hey, TC, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Excellent, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know what? You're kind of muffled. I think you might be away from the phone just a little bit too far. Any chance you might be able to scoot up just a hair bit?
Come closer.
Oh, no. This is really, really bad audio on your side.
Yes.
How's the audio?
Yes.
Now we can hear
Perfect.
you beautifully. Hey, try turning your phone landscape, though. Long.
They
You
went
want me to do
sideways.
And it should switch.
You like-
No, maybe not.
You like that?
Yeah. No.
You're sideways.
Yeah, you're just sideways now. So, all right, leave it like that. But
trying
whatever
to
you
do
did
it.
to the microphone, that made it sound much, much better. We can understand you now. It doesn't sound like you're talking into a pillow.
Awesome. So that's probably a good thing. I mean, you know, I don't like to talk into pillows when I don't have to. So.
Excellent. Well, TC, welcome to the show, first of all, and it's great to have you here. And I want to start this whole segment off, first of all, by apologizing for the movie that we made you have to sit through, because I decided, you and I talked on the phone, and I decided, what the heck, let's put this thing on the computer and watch it while I was out here working, and man, that's a horrible, horrible movie. So the movie we ended up having you watch was Night of the Lepus.
It's the lepus. That's Latin.
Oh,
Let's
lepus.
make
Okay.
Yes, as you know, you and I speak of the English, so that's a little different. But when I looked it up, clearly it was lepus. So I want to make sure that we're, helping out some of our other, international viewers.
Uh-huh. I thought what was hilarious was, first of all, how badly it's edited. But the best part about it was using real rabbits filmed up close, running in slow motion to kind of duplicate that they're giant. Oh my God, it was horrible. So, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to turn this over to you, and we're just going to hear what you have to say about Night of the Lepus. Did I do that right that time?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and TC, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much. Yes, this was a really, really bad movie, and that's keeping it clean for some of our younger viewers. After sitting down and watching this movie, I realized that possibly this was someone's movie written how to keep your kids from wanting small pets. Okay, this is someone who clearly probably just couldn't go home and tell their son or daughter, no, I'm not getting you animals. So instead, they wrote this horrible movie to terrify some of us so that we would never own small mammals. I did notice that the movie was made in 1972. Clearly, as an actor, comedian, somebody who's on this side of the camera as much as I possibly can be, the movie was not distributed until 2005. Yeah, that's a long time between being shown in the theater, 6 days, and then, 17, 18, 19, 20 something years until the next time someone can probably see it. You and I are big fans of Elvira, of some of the Svengali style Saturday night. I didn't always have a date, so I did stay home and watch a few movies. That's how I ended up a comedian. And I think maybe once, maybe twice in all those years it was played on those shows. I mean, it is a rare movie. And then when you watch it, you realize, yeah, that's why it's bad. So, this could have just simply been like a public service announcement, not to buy Easter. Any of that would have been just fine. But instead, it ended up being like, it was a great cast. The director was top notch. I mean, this was a Quentin Tarantino movie, except it had bunnies. So it really was top of the time. But honestly, I've studied martial arts for years, Kung Fu, and in the animal forms, and I never, ever once saw the bunny style. And I got to say, it's vicious. It truly is. I've gone to a new teacher now. I've completely given up all my prior instructions. From now on, it's the bunny style. So you see me out hopping around at a park looking weird, that's, I'm practicing, okay? But no, I did notice that no giant bunnies were harmed during the making of this film. So that's something I wanted everyone to know, that several small bunnies were probably harmed, but none of the giant bunnies.
I think some of the viewers may have been harmed watching it for sure.
I
know I was.
Essentially scarred. Yeah, definitely. I'm not getting back that time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I did love some of the acting in the movie. Really, really stood out to me. There's a gentleman, he plays a doctor or professor, I'm not quite sure. And at one point they ask him the question, what do you think this is? He says, vampires. And they look at him and he nods like, yeah, they could be vampires. And then he says, but more than likely, saber-toothed tigers. That's his scientific explanation for why the bunnies ended up attacking someone. I mean, this was horrible. I was just jealous that I wasn't in it, really. That's honestly what it came back to a little bit, too. I mean, these were truly great parts. I did know that after watching it, there was one person that probably worked harder on this movie than anyone else, and that was the bunny handler. I mean, did you see how many reviews. I mean, that guy, I hope that was a union for him, because that's, that was a paying gig right there. But lots and lots of rabbits. Again, none of the large ones were harmed. So I just, in case anybody's worried. And I do want to say at this point in the show, I appreciate no one making any Bugs Bunny jokes. Okay, that's, Natalie, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But Lepus is Latin for rabbit, for you, those of you that didn't catch that in the beginning. So I just, wanted to go back over that. I don't know why we couldn't have just named it Night of the Rabbit, but apparently someone took a Latin class in high school and really wanted to show that off. So that's pretty much the feeling I got out of that one. But the sound. Did anyone hear the sound effects? If you watch this movie, I really want you to listen to the sound effects. I believe, honestly, they are straight out of American Werewolf in London. I mean, the ferociousness coming out of some of those bunnies' mouths. Wow. I mean, to be a carrot would be the worst thing in the world.
You actually make me want to go back and watch it again.
I'm kind of concerned.
Am I a masochist or what?
He's making me not want to watch it.
Well, I'll do that right here. The very beginning of the movie starts out with a horse dying. Yes, that's the gentleman rides his horse into a rabbit hole or something, and he ends up having to kill his horse. That's how the movie started. If that didn't I'm sorry. That to me, I knew right then and there this was not going to go good for anyone, especially that poor horse.
Yeah. Did you notice that DeForest Kelley is in that movie of Star Trek fame?
Yeah. Boy, that's what I say. I mean, top-notch cast.
Yeah.
Really. But it looks like it probably was made at like a Cheech and Chong production, more like, I mean. It's something more like that. I can't lie. And at the end of the movie, when everything comes around and they get to that moment where they're thinking that they got this, I thought nobody decided to just poison a bunch of vegetables and leave them out. I mean, really, they come up with this huge elaborate plan, and all I could think to myself was, come on, we could have fixed that. It didn't need the crazy scientist guy who thought that vampires were killing people and, saber-tooth tigers were back or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That government at its finest, I believe, truly a representation of what we, deal with every day as American citizens right there. It's, bureaucracy gets involved. You can't just, get rid of the bunnies the easy way.
All right, so let me ask you. We'll kind of wrap this whole thing up. You're based on your recommendations. The choices are watch the movie or douse yourself in gasoline. Which is the better option?
So yeah, I would buy some marshmallows and have a good time with the family. Make sure everybody gets the s'mores going around and stuff. Yeah, no, this seriously, if you want to keep your kids from ever wanting any type of animal, pet, anything like that to love on and cherish throughout life, go ahead and show them this movie. Go ahead. Just feel free to do that. That's pretty much how I would set the premise. That would be the tagline.
We definitely have the same exact ideas when it comes to how to parent, because I think that's an outstanding idea. Your kid comes home from school and says, "Hey, Daddy, they brought a bunny into school and we got to pet it. Can I get a bunny?" I'd throw this movie on and say, "Yeah, as soon as you watch this movie, we'll go get a bunny." Well, hey, TC, I really appreciate you doing this. I think this is fun. We should definitely do this again. So what we'll do is this week we will post another post in the fan club group, once again asking people to give their votes on a really, really horrible movie, and we will torture you again with it. Let's now you're stand-up and you do this is kind of out of your normal forte. Do you have any upcoming gigs that you want to plug? Let us know where you're performing at, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I got a show coming up here on the next Saturday. It's at the KOE in Murata. Got some stand up doing there. The Friday after that is the 6th. That is the closing of Dimple Records out of Sacramento. I'm going to be hosting that. It's starting at 6 p.m. I think it goes to about 11 o'clock. It's going to be a huge event. There's going to be so many artists there that honestly, I don't want to disrespect anybody because I couldn't name them all in the amount of time, but it's just going to be one of those nights where Sacramento comes together, kind of celebrates, what we have and unfortunately what we're losing a little bit. But yeah, I get to host them out, and I believe it's a free event. So, get to see a lot of my bad jokes for free. But if you get with my Instagram, it's at the Captain TC, and I'm also part of a group of guys called the Broken Comics Comedy. And anytime you want to hit us up on the Instagram there too, you can keep an eye on us and where we're at and where we'll be. Sunday nights I like to come up to Sacramento and do a couple of the smaller clubs like Stab, Touch of Class. So if you're ever in the area, any of you guys want to come out and see me, everybody's welcome. I appreciate all that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we gotta definitely do an outing where we go and check you out. So we will definitely plan to do that. For those of you watching, in the description of the video, we do have links to TC. So send him a friend request, all that kind of stuff. And TC, thank you again. We will have you back probably in a few weeks, and we'll torch you some more with some really bad movies.
All right, yeah, no, I'll be looking for you at your car afterwards. All right, thanks a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right, so that's kind of fun. It must be weird for him because I know that when I was acting on stage, a big part of your ability to perform is playing off the crowd. And we talked about this before doing the show, that this was something so unique and different that it wasn't anything that he was, really used to and stuff. But man, that's a horrible movie. That really is a horrible movie. So, all right, you know what? We are at the point where we're gonna go ahead and do our mask drawing, our giveaway. So last episode we gave one mask away to someone off of my friends list, and then we also did a drawing for all the members of the Monster Vision fan club. Now what we're going to do is a drawing for those people who are in the groups of people who like the Monster Vision, the Uncle Monsters Decaffeinated Designs page. So we have those names in this box. Now, this was from almost a month ago is when the deadline was. And so you can see there's really not a whole lot in the box. There's not much in there. I dropped one. That's not the winner. It's going back in. So those of you who have been around this from the beginning, you are going to have the best chance of winning something right now. And I have got one name. I'm not going to read it just yet. I'm going to tell the rules to how this works. So what I'm going to do is I am covering the shipping. By the way, which mask was it that most people wanted?
It looked like it was worm food.
Okay. I saw a bunch that looked like worm food. So general consensus, we'll say worm food. So this is worm food. Someone's going to win him right now. But here's the way it works. I'm going to read the name off. You have 24 hours, that is till tomorrow, Sunday night at 8 p.m., to reach out via Facebook Messenger to my personal page, not the Decaffeinated Designs page. For some reason, those messages don't come through for hours and sometimes even a day or so. So if I call your name out, you need to reach out to me and say, hey, I'm claiming my prize. Then you give me your information, where it's going to ship to, and I will cover shipping anywhere in the lower 48 states. If you are an international person, Canada, Alaska, Hawaii, anything like that, I will give you a quote for how much the shipping is, and that's all that you got to pay. So without any further ado, we just happen to have Mr. I don't think it's going to focus, but that is Russ Turk. So, Russ, you are the winner. Sir, you have, party time. Woo. So, Russ, 24 hours, man, I know that you're going to reach out to me for sure. So, there we go. So, that is worm food. I'm really not wanting to get rid of him because I'm going to tell you of what I've done so far. That is my favorite. I think it just came out so cool. So, I'm going to have to deal with that one. So, all right. that being said, we did the mask drawing. All right, so we're going to talk, our next topic that we're going to talk about is actually going to be Ouija boards. We're going to talk about Ouija boards, and are they real or are they crap? If you think they work, why do you think they work? What are your thoughts on it, stuff like that? If you're watching the show and you have a really good Ouija board story, because I know a lot of people have played with them, and I know a lot of people have got some stories. If you got something good, give us a call. We would love to bring you on and hear what your story is. So I happen to have one. Where did I put it? Right here behind me. Ta-da! Oh, upside down. This is the, what is it? I don't know, it's Milton Bradley or Parker Brothers or, it's Hasbro. Okay. Yeah. Hasbro Ouija board. Tony, why don't you start? Why don't you tell us your thoughts on the Ouija board?
Well, thoughts on it. I don't know if it works or not for sure, but I think you're playing with a dangerous game one way or the other.
Here you go. Why don't you go ahead and handle the demon board?
So, talking board. I don't know. The thought is that you're channeling something from another dimension here, spirit, or possibly your own subconscious is coming through on this board. But historically speaking, this it's fairly new in terms of it's been around since the late 1800s or mid 1800s is kind of when it started. Mm-hmm. And started in upstate New York. I say it didn't start in upstate New York, but the spiritualism movement started in upstate New York, and kind of this sprung out of the spiritualism movement. Started with the planchette mostly. You got the planchette in there?
Yes, I do. Would you like it?
Yeah, sure. Take a look at that. But this was the foci that people were using. Originally, they would use something like this with a pencil on one end and use that to move it around and write with it. It eventually evolved into just using the pointer. I don't know if you want to show that there, but eventually evolved just using the pointer, using it to point to words. From there, I guess Elijah Bond, I think you and I were talking about this one day, who really was set up, or who was the original Ouija board creator. I think Elijah Bond was created or accredited with creating the talking board originally, but Natalie and I were just talking before, it's been around for quite some time in different forms. But the term Ouija board was, came from these individuals here. Him and Charles Kennard, I got some notes here, but Charles Kennard were two of the folks that originally started the talking board craze, and that's how the name, according to Charles Kennard, that's how the Ouija board got its name, was he asked the board itself, what do you want to be called? And it spelled out Ouija, which meant, supposedly, according to them, it meant good luck in Egyptian. Turns out it didn't. The other thought is that it means yes. So we French and I guess German for yes. So I guess it's also called the yes board. I've heard it called the yes board as well.
Not a yes no, huh?
No.
Not a no.
Now what about, it says up here, William Fuld. What?
So William Fuld was the one that took William Fuld. So there was a lot of after the Ouija board was brought to market, there was a lot of infighting among the original creators. Mm-hmm. William Fuld was the individual that really brought it to the world market. He started manufacturing it and brought it out. And he ran the company that made Ouija board for about just under 30 years. And then once he died, he died actually falling from the top of a building. He fell and had his lungs pierced, or his heart pierced by his own ribcage. And then his children his children took the company over. He died in 27. His kids took the company over, sold it in 1966 to Parker's Brothers, and then eventually it ended up going to Hasbro. Bought Parker's Brothers out in 91, and they're still making it today.
Wow.
But
So from what I know of it, these things are extremely polarizing among people. There's basically two train of thoughts. Either you believe them, and if you do believe them, you think that these things have the ability to like unlock demons from hell and possess your soul and wreak havoc on the world and all that kind of stuff. Or you're of the other train of thought that these things are just a little toy that little kids play with to kind of get spooked out, and it's right in line with standing in a dark bathroom looking in the mirror saying, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, and, that kind of thing. Natalie, what are your thoughts here? You want to hold the board?
I'm good.
Oh,
actually.
So you're one of those ones.
I know, it's kind of silly because obviously it's a toy and you can buy it at Walmart, but I have watched enough scary movies in my life to just know there's certain things you don't do. And that's how I believe.
Now, have you ever played with one? No, not ever once.
Not ever once.
Okay.
it seems like any device that you use that can focus, if you're focusing energy through something, if there is something on the other side, it makes sense that, if you're putting that much focus and energy into something, and if there is something on the other side that wants to reach out and communicate, you're kind of creating a conduit there. Planchette, board, whatever.
Okay.
All the keys to the door.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this question, and this is open to both of you guys. When this is being used, do you think that one of or more than one of the people are actually sort of being possessed by a spirit and physically moving it? Or do you think that maybe when enough people are touching it, like the spirit's little ghost hand is also touching it and moving it? What do you guys think?
I think it's quite possible. I mean, there's people out there that are very in tune to this kind of stuff, and so if you have the right people with you, I would assume it'd be the person.
What do you think? You're the one that's actually had the first experience with something from the other world.
Okay, so for those of you who didn't watch the first episode, and actually, I have a little bit of time, real quick. We'll add the next chapter of my haunted house story. But let me preface that by saying I have played with this a few times, not this one, but another one. And I'll tell you, every time I've played with it, I am absolutely certain that I have not been moving the piece. I'm absolutely certain. Now, someone else may have been cheating or whatnot, but, it does feel like it moves on its own. My fingers are on it so light that I actually feel it drift away from my fingers and, twist and turn. It is kind of spooky. It is kind of weird. But the thing I have a problem with is I have a hard time believing that anything that is mass-produced, that they have made millions and millions and millions of copies, have been distributed all over the world. If these things were really that dangerous, we would literally be living in an environment of fire and brimstone, demons flying through the sky, swooping you up and eating you when you're just trying to go out and check your mail and drive to work. So, I don't know. I don't think it's as dangerous as some people think.
Well, do you believe that certain people are more attuned to the supernatural?
Oh, absolutely.
So could they not? This is in the hands of millions of people across the world, but those people that are super in tune with something from beyond this world, could they not use that as the keys to hell or whatever? Yeah,
but I think it's going to be a key that's very limited. I don't think it's going to open the big hell.
So when are we going to do the seance here?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. So that being said, great segue. So in the last chapter of my haunted house story, I explained that I bought a hearse, brought the hearse home, and weird things began to happen around the house. And the only thing that I kind of talked about at that point was the first instance where footsteps were heard running down the hallway. I'm trying to remember what the other thing that I talked about was, but that was the first thing. The next thing that really happened to me was I used to have my setup in the garage where I'd make my masks, and I was standing at the back of the hearse at my mold prep station where I stipple in all the latex and kind of get ready to do a dwell. My kids were out of school. They were on summer vacation. This was several years ago. I had the radio blast in classic rock, which is the best. And I was just in my own zone. And from where I was, the garage door is off to my left, and it's kind of just out of my peripheral vision. As I'm working, I felt someone grab the bottom of my shirt, kind of like behind me, and pull down like 3 quick jerks. And I didn't even think nothing about it. I thought that it was probably my youngest and wanted to get my attention. Maybe had been standing at the door saying, "Dad, Dad." And I literally had the radio blasting. And she walked over, grabbed my shirt to get my attention. But when I turned and looked, there was nothing there. I mean, there was nobody, no nothing, anything. And I sat there for the longest time trying to figure out, did I snag my shirt on something? And I tried and tried and tried to replicate that, and nothing. And it was definite. It was 1, 2, 3 tugs. So, not long after that happened, my oldest came to me and told me a story that I don't want to tell because I've already talked with him, and he has said that he'll come out and tell the story.
Awesome.
So he's going to come out and join us maybe on the next episode just for a real quick story. He has seen the entities, multiple ones, on multiple occasions. I've only seen one time. But yeah, so I have no doubt that there's something out there. And I brought it up to the group, the idea of, hey, wouldn't it be awesome? Let's do a Halloween special from the inside of the back of my hearse and do a Ouija board seance in the hearse. Natalie says no. I think Tony's still on the fence with that, but yeah, so any case, all right. If you want to call in, we're going to open the phone lines to take calls towards the end of the show. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get our Artist of the Week video. This is really cool because, well, we'll talk about him afterwards. Let's go ahead and roll our Artist of the Week. Hello, everyone, and it is time for the Artist of the Week. This week, I have Jaret vonJekyll, all the way from Jacksonville, Florida, joining us. Jaret, hello, welcome to the show, and thank you for being a part of this. Hey, let's start off with just having you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. Well, like you said, my name's Jaret vonJekyll. I'm from vonJekyll Art in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been doing, I've been mask making for since I was about 14 years old. Started in high school, and I've been doing it ever since.
Very cool. So let me ask you, how did you get into doing mask making? What was it that kind of inspired you? What motivated you to learn how to do this?
You know, like I said, I was doing it at a young age, so it was really like just my love for horror movies, and I still have this overbearing love for horror movies. And that's really what got me into it. I was very introverted, still kind of introverted, so I didn't, go out with friends too much. So I would stay back home and watch these movies, So I want to learn how to make the stuff, you know what I mean? So that's what got me to there.
Cool. And where would you say you primarily draw your inspiration from? Does it just kind of evolve in your head, or do you see something somewhere that kind of says, hey, that would make kind of a neat mask? I mean, what's your source of inspiration?
I don't think there's any one source of inspiration. I'm kind of cursed with a heavy flow of constant ideas. It keeps me up at night sometimes. I have so many ideas. It's just, I don't know. Movies, music, life, a thought, anything. Like I said, it just comes to me when it comes to me, and that's how it works out.
Cool. So now, tell me a little bit about your personal life, like maybe your day job or family or something like that. What else you got going on?
Well, this is my day job. I do this all day, every day, making masks, and it's a hustle for sure. And then I'd say my passion project would be my filmmaking. I do short films. I did a short film last year called The Nightmare Man, and you can watch that on my YouTube channel. It's more of a slasher, paranormal slasher movie. And I'm currently working on a short film project called The Tooth Fairy. And also, they feature my masks and stuff. This one's more of a fantasy type of horror. So more of a fairy tale. I'm definitely excited to get that out. That'll be out here at the end of the month.
Oh, very cool. Now, is there a place where viewers can go to see your films right now?
Yep, on YouTube, vonJekyll Art is the name of the channel, and if you type that in, and you'll find the channel, vonJekyllArt, and you got it.
Cool. Okay, so where do you hope to see yourself, say, 5 years from right now? Where would you like to see yourself? Where would you like to be?
I would like to have a bigger workspace. I would like to have a big, giant studio space where I can do whatever I want. And I want to be making films. That's the big thing. Like, I do love making the masks, and I've been doing it for a long time. It pays the bills, and but filmmaking, like I said, is my passion. I want to get involved in filmmaking some way or another.
Cool. Now, I've been looking at your art, and you have definitely got a real good knack for getting that necrotic flesh kind of look. I was looking at the one that you did that is the pirate zombie looking kind of thing, and I tell you, man, it reminds me, I remember being a kid and we went on a field trip with my class to the Los Angeles Museum of Natural History, and one of the things that they had on display then was an actual mummy from Egypt. And it was in a little glass case. You could walk right up to it and look at it. And I remember I was probably 4th or 5th grade or something, and seeing that in person, man, it was traumatic. I mean, just that parchment skin and all that. And when I saw your pirate, I was like, damn, that looks exactly like that. I mean, it's pretty good. So, and that seems to be a real theme with a lot of your work. But you've got it nailed down. So, where'd you learn to do that kind of stuff?
I mean, the grittiness of it, it's just that's just something that I like as far as an aesthetic goes for masks, like or just anything really. Like, I like things to be kind of to feel grounded in reality a little bit. The things I work on, I like stuff that go really far out there or have this cartoonish aspect to it. But like, I want something to, when you look at it. And look, like, if you look at one of my masks, you're like, that possibly could be haunted.
Yeah.
It possibly could be haunted. There may be a spirit coming with this mask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely, like, that's where I try to look at, like, everything that I do is like, does this provoke some type of inner feeling of not goodness? You know what I mean? So,
well, that being said, let's take a quick moment and show a little montage of your work. So children may not want to watch because this is some really scary stuff. So let's go ahead and roll the montage. Man, I tell you, that is some really great stuff. Jaret, I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show and coming on board and letting everyone get to know you. Is there anything you'd like to add to this, or any plugs you'd like to give out, or anything like that?
Well, I'd definitely like to say thank you again for having me. It's more than a pleasure. I like to talk about this stuff, and horror movies, all the mass stuff, and but a plug. How about check out that Tooth Fairy short film that I have coming? It's coming to YouTube on July 26th. This probably will air afterwards, but so go back and look at it. Remember, vonJekyllArt, vonJekyll Art YouTube channel. Check out the short films.
Cool. There you go, viewers. Be sure to check him out again. It's Jaret vonJekyll. We'll put a graphic on here so you know how to spell it and how to find it and everything. Do me a big favor. Go give this guy a friend request. Go check out his art, like his page, and share it because it's all about spreading word. Help this guy sell some stuff. And if you see something on there, snatch it up and buy it from him. So, yeah, that being said, again, Jaret, thank you very much for being part of the show and wish you good luck. And we hope to have you back at some point down the road and just kind of check in on you and see how things are going. So until then, what was that? You broke up some.
Anytime.
All right, cool. All right, well, thank you very much. And let's get on back to our regular show. So there you have it, Jaret vonJekyll. You know what's really cool about that is we were talking about this before the show, and I was saying that I'm so amazed that we live in this technological world of computers and all these things that we've got, that you can take, three amateurs like us and throw a TV show together. Instead of like wishing there was a TV show, you just go out and make it. And then you got people like Jaret, who's not only making masks, but he's an aspiring filmmaker. And after doing the interview with him, I went ahead and got on YouTube and actually watched his Tooth Fairy movie. And I got to tell you, that guy is actually extremely talented. The cinematography and all that's on there. Now, it's only 6 minutes long, so definitely go on and watch it. It's 6 minutes long. Don't expect like a whole lot of character development and a whole lot of stuff. But when I got done watching it, it honestly felt to me like it was a 6-minute trailer for a much larger movie, and maybe it was giving you a little backstory. And in my mind, I started envisioning where that story could go moving forward. And I'll tell you, the cinematography, the directing in it, all that kind of stuff, absolutely beautiful work. I mean, really, really good. So you viewers out there, go give it a watch, go take a look at it, and subscribe to him and stuff like that, because if he keeps going down the road that he's going on, this guy is going to be, one of those big names, at some point. So, okay, we are going to open up the phone lines for callers to call in, if there are any. But before we do that, we're going to also open the phone lines because we are going to do the trivia contest, trivia question, to see who will be winning this Wasteland 2072. Just so you know, also, this is poll number 2 from the mold, from the master mold. It is a little oversized, so if you've gone on YouTube and seen my video where I talk about using the pads stuck to the inside of the, I'll put a link in the comments that'll make it fit. When I get around to making a production mold, that probably won't need it, but in any case, same question we were going to use in episode 1. I'm just going to recycle it because the same clue was in the beginning of this episode for those of you who tuned in really early. In the beginning of this show, at the opening credits, there was a sponsor listed, okay? It's not a real sponsor. We're not that cool yet. We don't have sponsors. The question I have is, who can tell me what movie that sponsor would have been from? So the number right here on the screen, if you know the answer to that, the first caller who knows that answer and answers it correctly will be winning this mask. So start dialing right now. And once we have a winner, we'll announce it. And if you want to discuss more about the Ouija board or anything like that, give us a call as well, too. So there we go. There's the question. It'll probably take another 30 seconds or so before someone calls in. So I do have a Ouija board story myself. It's not super earth-shaking, crazy, and all that kind of stuff. But my wife and I, my wife who's watching, hi, honey, I love you. And my wife is awesome. She lets me play out here all that I want to do all of this kind of stuff, and she takes care of everything in the house. She doesn't bitch. She doesn't complain. She is the most awesome wife. I actually was walking out here the other day, and I thought to myself, for any of you guys out there who are thinking about getting married, do not get married. Because even though you think you have found the perfect person, you haven't. I know for a fact because I have. So, Anyway, so years and years and years ago, we're talking 25, 27 years ago, something like that. We were at my apartment, and I had a Ouija board, and no one else was home, and we were sitting there playing Ouija just for fun. Now, I was in my early 20s, and I had this like suitcase, blow molded case full of Legos that had been sitting up against the wall since we moved in there. So it had been there forever. And as we were playing, both of us are doing the normal thing, you know, I'm not moving it. But it was moving, and it was like starting to answer questions and spell things out. And then all of a sudden, that thing of Legos just fell over on its own, completely fell over. We both, of course, jumped and just, we were scared the crap out of us. She decided she's done playing with the Ouija board, and that was actually the last time I played with it. That was the last time I've ever played with it, and I cannot get anyone who will play it in my house and stuff. So.
Oh, we have a phone call.
Oh, okay, we have a phone caller. Let's see who it is. Hello, caller. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
All right. Hey, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Will Leto, and I'm from Manawa, Wisconsin.
Hey, Will. I know your name. I see you all the time. How are you doing this evening?
Great. I just got off of work a little bit ago, and I'm making up some food.
Cool. What are you eating?
Burgers. How fitting, right?
Yeah, all right. So from Wisconsin to Sacramento, cook us a few extras. We'll start heading there right now, and we should be there by Wednesday or so. All right, sir.
Yeah,
so now are you calling with the answer to the trivia question?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, so what movie does that sponsor reference?
That Big Kahuna Burger sponsor is from Pulp Fiction.
You, sir, have got it. You are the new winner, or the new owner of this guy. So I'm just going to let you know right now, the last things I got to do is give him a quick spray of sealant and gloss his goggles. I knew I was going to be handling him, and I don't like to handle them for at least 24 hours when I do that. So I'm going to do that tonight, and come Monday, all the masks that have been given away will be shipping out. So congratulations, Will. Hey, while we have you on the phone, have you ever played with a Ouija board?
I have, actually. My girlfriend and her roommate collect antiques, and they love to play it at their house, and it is not fun, at least for me.
Yeah. Have you had spooky things happen while you're playing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very cool, very cool. Well, hey, again, congratulations. Thank you for calling, and thank you for supporting the show. So make sure when you get off here at some point tonight, just hit me up on Facebook, send me a message. I'm going to need your address and stuff so I know where to ship this thing to. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Excellent. And thank you for watching, man.
Absolutely. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you have a great night.
You as well.
All right. You know, he's one of those people that, you know, likes and supports and promotes and shares. And so I'm glad it's going to someone who is really, really participating. So, Natalie, bring up the three-way camera. Or actually, you know what? Bring you up real quick.
Oh, just me?
Just you. You're the star. So I want everyone to take a look over here behind Natalie. Natalie, write Will L, or Will LT. Put Will LT.
Okay.
On 3 fart jar. Yeah, there you go. And just fold them in half, and then half again, throw them in the jar. And then you can switch back over to me. So the fart jar there is the fan appreciation, recognition, and thanks. Basically, the more active you are with helping us, the more times you like stuff, the more times you comment, share. When I start to see a recurring name that's popping up all the time, I put your name in the jar, and I don't just put one. I'll put 4 or 5 or whatever. If you're super active, I'll put a bunch in for the week. The idea behind that is we are going to be doing periodic drawings. We're going to be giving away masks. We're going to be giving away other prizes. You just never know, and you never know when it's going to be. And it might even be like a $100 credit towards purchasing a mask from me or anything like that. So be active with the show. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Partake in it. The purpose of this show is to give those Halloween fanatics something fun to watch, something informative, to give as much exposure as we can to other artists and really build the community so that we all get to know each other a little bit more, have a little bit more appreciation for the work that we all do and stuff like that. So the more you participate, the greater the chances that you're going to get, something as a reward. So, all right. Well, that being said, we are just about right at an hour and 5 minutes, and I think too many people are watching this on their phone, and they don't want to disconnect in order to call in. So what we'll do then is we will wrap up the show. I got a couple of quick closing comments. I mean, you guys have anything at all that
No.
Okay, we're good. All right. Well, again, first of all, thank you all for tuning in to watch this show. Again, this is just three people getting together, having fun, talking about the stuff that we love, with you guys watching, taking part, commenting, all of that kind of stuff. It's really great. Coming up next week, we're going to have another live guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's a little secret. That person is a mask maker, and they're going to be giving away one of their masks on the show. So you're going to want to tune in because there will be another chance to win a mask, and it will be a call-in contest. So that we got that. We're going to have a whole different artist of the week. We're going to have a guest and an artist of the week, so we're going to have one of each.
Save the number.
Yes, definitely save the number. And we haven't quite picked out what our weird topic is going to be next week, but we've got a couple ideas, and we're going to discuss that after the show. Like Uncle Monster's Decaffeinated Designs, share it. Also, make sure you join the fan club, because that's where you get a lot of inside stuff. The fan club members actually got to see what this wasteland looks like before the show ever aired, so that's kind of cool. I like to share stuff in the fan club. Also, we have another segment we're going to start doing, and that is show and share. If you are a mask maker, if you are a prop maker, if you are a sketch artist, whatever kind of creative stuff that you're doing, as long as it's spooky and creepy, jump on the Monster Vision fan club and post pictures of it, share it. We're going to do a segment probably every other week or whatnot where we're going to do fan art, and we're going to show it with a little graphic with your name, link to your page, all that kind of stuff. So boom. Also, if you are a mask maker, makeup artist, whatever, and you would like to be interviewed as Artist of the Week, reach out to me and let me know. We have a few more that are in the can, and we're going to be doing them, but we're always going to need more. So if you're a mask artist, reach out, let me know. We'll see if we can get something scheduled. Throat getting dry. All right, guys. Hey, again, I want to thank you all for tuning into this. Hopefully everyone's having fun. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. We will be back next week with a whole new show, something creepy to talk about, and mask giveaway, Artist of the Week. So again, thank you very much, everyone. And as always, stay scary, my friends. you're still here? The show's over. Go create something. Go on.